Yes.
Okay. With us now is Eric, and he is with Dan's Papers. How are you?
I'm doing very well. How about you?
Good. How did you decide to come up with this event?
You know, 4 years ago, we launched the Dan's Papers Literary Prize for Nonfiction, this idea to celebrate great writing on the East End. And we thought we always wanted to make this a literary festival, more celebrating great storytelling. There are a few areas, I think, where storytelling is as powerful as in the world of sports. So when we talked about this, we said, let's get great sports guys who not only lived these stories, but then wrote great books about them. So we're looking for a panel to say, want to be diverse, want to be from different worlds, so who's better than Joe Pepitone and the Yankees and all of his great stories, legendary stuff. Rudy Ruettiger, I mean, I can hear in the back of my head as I say his name going, Rudy, as everybody else does. And Dwyer Brown from Field of Dreams. So I say his name and I get ulterior, you know, want to go ask someone to go have a catch. And then Stephen Costello, who wrote an incredible book and is a senior executive VP at Steiner Sports, and he's going to be moderating it. So he's right here from West Hampton Beach, so it's local, it's these stories that are timeless, and we've got them all here.
Well, this event just keeps growing, and this year we've actually added on to it, but the core of the event is the literary contest, which gives back to writers, as we've been giving back to artists every year, which every cover of our newspaper has an artist on it. So this was adding on to it and adding a author-athlete part of it. And we've got some really great guests here, and it's blown away our expectations.
So now you're here tonight, and what brought you here?
Well, I did a book signing, and I just came out with a book again. It's well, I wrote a book many years ago with Barry Steinbeck, and Playboy Press put it out, and it really went good, you know. But my wife's got all the money, I guess, you know. And as I said, this book is a totally honest book, and I made it that way. Actually, the first book I wrote was totally honest also, because it was more like a therapy with this guy. We would shut it off and talk about it and about certain things that happened to me. This guy really helped me. So the book now is like 4 or 5 more chapters on it, the new one, adding to it. And it's just a totally honest book, and it's where I'm at right now, you know, in my life. I'm still working with the Yankees, and thanks for George Steinbrenner, who's been really big with me and helped me out a great deal, as he has many other people. But, you know, right now I'm happy in my life. I'm retired. I got a pension. I got Social Security. And I get a couple pensions. And so that's enough for me. But I still do like 30 appearances for the Yankees. I work with their sponsors. And it's...
Being the collectibles, and everyone in the last couple of weeks has just signed autographs of those amazing times. And believe it or not, the autograph that sells the most with Joe is just a simple picture of him playing stickball in Brooklyn. Is it Brooklyn?
Well, in Brooklyn, geez, I wish they had a game. I wish they had a major league in stickball. I would have been a Hall of Fame a long time ago. But, you know,
So when you were growing up, did you always play ball, like out in the sandlot? Were you playing with sticks? Were you playing with baseball bats? Like, how did you know you were good at it?
I wish today that you had a major leagues in stickball. I was 12 years old, 11 years old. I picked up a stickball bat. I used to go down the basement and grab a broom at my grandfather's and burn the straw off and take the wire off and use that as a stickball, which helped me greatly in my career later on in life. But it was robbing my grandfather's brooms and breaking the ends off, and played stickball morning to night from 7 o'clock in the morning to late at night. I wish I knew Rudy. That would have been a hell of a ball player, you know. But you know what's so great? I gotta say this about Rudy. You know, I never met Rudy before, but and you know you have fans that are around, but you don't realize that you have a celebrity like this who really went out of his way to say, "Hey Joe, you know, man, you know, I loved you," and that's what makes me feel good, you know, when you don't realize it's that one person, you know, and then you hear it from him. That makes me feel good.
Well, it makes me feel better seeing you now.
I think we're going to
I'm here tonight out in the Hamptons, and you're here tonight. And what brought you here? A car?
Yeah, actually, it was a nice Range Rover. What brought me here? That's a great.
We're doing an event, right?
I was thinking, okay, what brought me here? Yeah, it was a car. No, to celebrate the Hamptons.
Yeah.
I got to meet a past hero of mine, Joe Pepitone. Then you meet Dwyer Brown, the guy from Field of Dreams. Quite an experience with Steiner Sports. We have a autograph signing, and we come out here. We sign a couple hundred books, and now we're going to have a question and answer period. I'm excited. Beautiful area.
Isn't it lovely? Now, I know that you have been an inspiration for so many since the day you first took the field. But let's talk about your 4 C's. What do the 4 C's stand for, for those that don't know?
Yeah, well, we have a program called the Rudy Character Program. Commitment, and also how they contribute back, and how it takes courage to deliver what you want to do. So, you know, the mandate is to help develop their self-esteem. That's the deal.
Now, I know that you had dyslexia, or you have dyslexia.
I have it.
I know, it doesn't go away, right?
No, I am an attention deficit disorder, so I'll be all over the map here.
I found out I had dyslexia with numbers, 1s and
Yeah.
7s. I was ringing up orders one night, and they're like, Donna, every time you're supposed to put in a 7, you put in a 1, and you know.
I have all kinds of issues. But one thing I do have, I can
persevered.
dream.
Yes.
Dream is the dreaming in my imagination is what helped me get through all of it. And not listening to the naysayers.
We went through so many great movies, Rocky and Hoosiers, and in the top 3 were both Rudy and Field of Dreams. And obviously, you said you were number 1, so.
I didn't pick number 1,
but the other thing that I think you should share with the audience is the effect Field of Dreams had on you.
Yes, there is.
Enjoy Rudy, if you want to talk about that.
There's a couple things here on stage. The New York Yankees had an effect on me. Always wanted to play for the Yankees. Joe grew up with Pepitone, Maris, Mano, and when I got this it was kind of an imaginary type of thought of having a movie made out of your life after you played at Notre Dame, because it was like living a dream. Actually, you know, you worked in the steel mills and the power plants, and you go to work, you come home, and you go in the Navy, come back in the Navy, then all of a sudden your friend dies. And you look up in the heavens and say, you know, why am I here? And that's when I made the decision to go for the dream.
What's on the horizon for you? What do you want to reach for now?
Well, you know what? I never know that until you get inspired. When you're inspired, you say, you know, I want to do that. So I keep myself open. I don't stick to one thing because, you know, I'm not going to be a doctor or a scientist or a carpenter or a plumber. So I need to dream some out-of-the-box stuff, and that's what I do.
You know what's interesting to me is that whether you had a good relationship with your dad, as I did, or kind of a terrible relationship, you know, that you've had difficulties with your dad, and that I think what Field of Dreams captured so well was that idea that you would get one last chance, you know, kind of to make that right. And you know, to just have that catch, even if you didn't say anything, to just throw that ball back and forth.
Field of Dreams is just a movie role I did 25 years ago. I just auditioned for it like any other movie, but of course we shot it on a farm in Iowa, and I'd grown up on a farm in Ohio, so it was it felt like I was home when we were shooting it. And of course, you know, I got to work with Kevin Costner and James Earl Jones and Burt Lancaster, and so it was just a wonderful experience. And at the time, I don't think any of us thought it was going to be a successful movie, but 25 years later, I've had so many people come up to me and, you know, just recognize me while I'm shopping or whatever, and just tell me the most amazing stories of how that movie sort of changed their lives. If they, you know, some of them had been estranged from their fathers, and they went to see that movie and realized that, you know, that's not something they wanted to have in their lives, and they dragged their dad to go see the movie, and they managed to kind of get past their difficulties, and others, you know, whose parents, you know, had maybe been, another guy whose father was killed in the Korean War, and it motivated him to sort of start an organization for POWs and MIAs. And anyway, it was just kind of amazing to me that, I mean, it's sort of why I got into acting in the first place was, you know, I believe that, you know, the arts have the capacity to change people's lives. So to sort of have that had happened to me with this movie, with this 5-minute role that I had in this movie, was kind of amazing to me. So I ended up writing the story, which talks about what fun I had shooting it, all the people that have come up to me, and just before I went to go shoot the movie, my father died unexpectedly, and so it was very interesting to then go to Iowa and be playing a dead father coming out of the cornfield to play catch with his son, having just left my father's funeral. And I think for that reason, that role has always had a deeper meaning for me, and I feel like it's sort of my penance when when men come up to me, usually men, sometimes women, and tell me their story about their fathers, it keeps my own father's memory fresh in my mind, and it's my little way of paying him back for everything he did for me.
That's beautiful. I really appreciate you sharing that with me.
Yeah, I'm getting emotional talking about it.
And they just start, the tears come into their eyes, and they tell me some story, and it's just, I try to be that father, I try to be John Kinsella, I give them that hug, that maybe they didn't get from their dad, and, in that way, it's been kind of an amazing thing for me to keep my own father's, legacy alive by, being the, iconic father for, anybody else who's seen that movie, so it's been a ride that, continues. Here I am in East Hampton.
How did Dan's paper get you involved?
Well, I've just been such a long time fan of Dan's papers, and just reading it is coming out on the East End for so long, and just so excited to be part of this literary night. And obviously my relationship with the players was able to help pull it together. So.
Now, when did that begin for you?
Reading Dan's papers, or?
No, that your passion and working with the players and the things that you've been doing.
It's probably been going on for like 20 years. And just being with, different players, it's a dream job, kind of like a Jerry Maguire thing where, you work with them and you create ideas. And, Rudy, Dwyer Brown, the guys Joe Pepitone, the guys that are here tonight are just so great to work with. And you've got, Rudy, who had the great football story, being carried off the field of Notre Dame, also a movie made about his life. And then Dwyer Brown, who has an outstanding book, and as well, Dwyer was Kevin Costner's dad in Field of Dreams, as we all know. So
that's why you decided to come out to this great event.
Partly because of Steve Costello. I'm a friend and a supporter, but also it's very inspirational to see someone like Rudy. I've seen the movie many times. I'm sure people have seen it multiple times. And of course, Field of Dreams. And Joe Pepitone is inspiration as well.
It's going to be a great night. Now, did you play ball coming up? Did you play any sports growing up?
I played a lot of sports growing up. Never made as big as some of these guys, but I did play sports growing up.
Excellent. And I know that they had a nice little cocktail party. They've got some goodie bags and things of that nature. And how have you been celebrating summer? What are some of the other things that you've been doing?
It's kids. It's a lot of kids. I have 4 children and a lovely wife, and spending a lot of time with them.
All of those people here tonight, and we're celebrating you. And what do you love most about the words that you've written in your latest book?
Well, I think the fact that it kind of defied the odds. I self-published. I had a #1 best-selling book on Amazon, and I've been speaking all over the country, and it's just been amazing that words I put on a page are affecting people, and especially people who've grown up with physical and mental abuse, and being able to speak and talk to them and just help people. Which when I wrote the book, I only thought I would be helping myself. And now I'm just helping so many other people. So, it's really good. It's really great, and looking forward to my next book.